What's up, guys? It is Dan from FightWave, and today I'm incredibly excited to be joined by a guest who has been a regular on your FightWave schedule programming. He is somebody that needs no further introduction, but is coming off a phenomenal TKO victory of Victor Martinez a couple months back, and in my opinion, is one of the most exciting 155ers inside the UFC right now. You know we are a big fan of him when we call out publicly that he is going to win his pro debut, and unfortunately it didn't go his way, but he bounced back in spectacular fashion against Victor Martinez, and he fights at UFC 305 in Perth against Alex Reyes in his home country of Australia. I am privileged to be joined by the big train himself, Tom Nolan. Tom, always a privilege to have you on, brother, and congratulations on your first UFC victory. How have you been?
Yeah, no, things are doing really well, bro. I'm feeling awesome, ready for 305, excited to go.
No, yeah, definitely. And Tom, we spoke to you ahead of your Contender Series fight and ahead of your pro debut, and we've really seen the evolution in your skill set and just in your, the actual media coverage of you. I feel like has gone tenfold since we first spoke to you. Just the overall world getting to realize just how special the big train is. Only 23 years of age. The sky is the limit for you. Talk us through just how you're feeling coming off the first UFC victory, a little bit of the pressure from the debut, kind of relieved in the second fight. Talk us through just the emotions that you're feeling right now coming off the victory.
Yeah, obviously the debut didn't go my way, but the last fight did. So I feel like really I've kind of just wiped that away. Like that was my debut. I learned a lot from the loss. I've taken a lot of lessons from that, and yeah, I'm just approaching it a little bit differently these days going into my fights. But yeah, man, I feel really good. I feel like I said, I learned a lot of lessons, so I'm feeling a lot calmer, a lot more just happy to be here, excited.
Yeah, definitely. And like you said, like a lot to kind of analyze and take away from the pro debut. And, sometimes they say even in a loss, you take a lot away than you would in a victory. Talk us through just kind of the emotions, coming off of that. Obviously a first for you. Just being able to kind of take a step back and, like you said, change your approach and, really look at the game through a kind of refined perspective. What was that kind of, not bounce back period, but what was that kind of thought process or time of reflection like for you just to really be able to come back twice as strong in the next fight?
Yeah, obviously I put a lot of pressure on myself going into that one because, like as you saw, as everyone saw, it was I'm gonna win this fight in a minute. It's gonna be over quick. It's gonna be over quick, and I believe that probably a little bit too much. I went in there with that pressure, thinking, oh, I have to finish this super early because like that's what's expected of me. I have to do this in. It goes longer than a minute, and that's not good enough. I came out there feeling sharp, feeling good. My opponent was quite nervous. I could see over in his corner, it was very clear that he was freaking out a little bit. And I think I just bought into that a little bit too much. Like I saw him panicking and I thought, okay, like this is going to be a quick night. And, it's like a caged animal, man. I put him against the fence and his job's on the line and, his reputation's on the line and he threw two bombs and caught me and, hurt me. And then he did a really good job of pouncing on me and just keeping me down. The shots didn't hurt because like in a fight, it's hard to really feel. It was more confusion. Like as I was falling, I was like, "Oh, what's happened here?" I thought I might have swept him because I wasn't. I actually didn't know what happened. As soon as I hit my back, saw him over the top of me, I realized what had happened. I quickly was like, "Oh, okay, I've been hurt here. Like, let's get back up." Yeah, and he did a great job of just crushing my hips and staying on top of me. So yeah, just I guess what I've taken away from that is, treat each fight with the respect of like a world champion. I bought into the hype too much that he shouldn't have been able to hang with me. And, truth be told, I think if we run that fight back, I do win that fight 9 times out of 10. But I had to learn that lesson and it was a good time to learn it. I'd rather learn it now than just keep running through people in a minute and then learn it further in, against someone in the top 15, let's say.
No, yeah, definitely. And I know for you, not necessarily just you learning a lot along the way, but a lot of the things I think make or break a fighter in a win or a loss is the people you surround yourself with. And I know for you, the people you've got around you are some of the most quality people in the entirety of combat sports. Coach Steve Compton and obviously his son Elliot Compton, who both run Team Compton Training Center. How important was it for you just to have those two people around you who have been so instrumental in your career thus far? And Elliot's had his fair share of wins and losses, and him being able just to guide you through the whole process and really be able to be there as a resource in kind of an unexpected, or not unexpected, but an unknown territory for you up until that point.
Yeah, pretty much the way you put it is the best. They are some of the best in the world at this, if not the best in the world. Um, And yeah, they just told me how it is, like we don't beat around the bush. We got straight back to the gym. My coach told me, he said, hey, like, we got to right that wrong immediately. We got straight back into work, and he said the same thing. He said, like, we win that fight 9 times out of 10. You just got to make sure you're going in there correct, and we just got to fix a few things. Um, yeah, man, honestly, they were the best. And Elliot is, he's like a older brother to me, so I do look up to him a lot, and I take a lot of his advice. And yeah, he was just great through it all. We like to laugh at ourselves a lot, so like, take the piss out of each other. So that's a good way to deal with it. Yeah, so a lot of that with a lot of just correcting what went wrong, and yeah, the bounce back was good.
No, yeah, definitely. And you talk about the bounce back and enough about the debut. I got to go into this performance versus Victor. I feel like it was one of the best performances we've seen this year. And like we spoke about off air, still not even the best version of Tom Nolan we've come to see in other fights. You talk about just a lot of the improvements. And I think, obviously, at that point in time, fighting at the highest level, nerves are expected. But I feel like the way that you've handled yourself and the way that you kind of dealt with pressure and bounced back from these kind of high pressure situations, Tom, it speaks a lot about your character and potential at only 23 years of age at 155. Walk us through just the excitement of putting away a guy like Victor Martinez and just being able to showcase the world-class striking that we've come to expect from you and the team at Team Compton Training Center.
Yeah, well, this fight was kind of a stressful situation again because essentially I was fighting another version of Motor, right? Like 8 knockouts, a short, stocky guy who's experienced, and again, everyone's saying like, oh, like this should be a blowover. This should be such an easy fight, and I knew, nah, this guy's gonna definitely, he's gonna have seen the last one. He's gonna come out and try and take my head off, right? So yeah, a lot of that I've got to give to my coach Stevo. He during fight week, man, he really just told me the exact things I needed to hear. And I feel like we've really developed a good system for this now. Like, that's our third time fighting overseas and fighting internationally, like with Zuffa, like including Contender Series. So I am getting comfortable with it now. I think we found the right recipe. And I'm really excited for this fight because I think all we're going to do is just hone in on it. And I think this time I'm going to go out there and I'm going to be super, super comfortable. Like each time I'm getting more comfortable. So,
No,
yeah.
yeah, definitely. And I feel like the excitement after the fight, not necessarily about the result, but about the potential that, at the time it wasn't announced, but I know you were gunning for that fight on UFC 305. And, the UFC granted that wish. I don't think we've ever seen a fight request kind of granted as fast as that. I feel like it was just perfectly timed. Alex Reyes versus you at UFC 305. And I want to highlight this because I feel like it's really cool. You look at your pro debut almost a year after UFC 243 Adesanya versus Whitaker won. You make your pro debut almost a year later, and now fast forward to 2024, you're fighting in Perth against Alex Reyes in your home country, a homecoming for the ages. Talk us through just
Mhm.
the emotions and the prospect of fighting back in Australia in front of your home crowd.
Yeah, well, the cool thing about that is my brother actually flew me down to Melbourne to watch that fight. And we watched that from the very, very top of the nosebleeds. We watched Izzy knock out Whitaker. And I remember him asking me after that fight, I was 19, I was still an amateur, I was getting ready for my pro debut. And he said to me, when are you going to be in the UFC? How long do you reckon? And now, 5 years later, me and him are going to be walking out on Izzy's undercard. So that's a pretty full circle moment for me. It's pretty cool to be able to give that back to him. And yeah, man, it's been a year and a half. It'll be a year and a half by the time the fight rolls around since I fought in Australia. I love fighting here. People always get around me here, like the Aussies love me. So it's going to be cool to be walking out in Perth in that stadium. And yeah, for once, not having to be the guy who's jet lagged and cutting weight on a plane, having someone else do that for me, that's going to be good.
No, yeah, definitely. And I guess I 100% can agree that it probably beats staying in the fighter hotel all drained and, jet lag and tired. You get to fly over to Perth, which is probably like a 2-3 hour flight, and fight in front of your home crowd. And, like you mentioned, the Aussie fans kind of getting behind you, I think, really in a very special way. I think the way we've kind of seen the reception around you, Tom, I feel like we see very few young fighters kind of get that reception this early on. Walk us through just what the support has meant from you from your home country and seeing everyone kind of rally behind you, even through the good and through the bad, just seeing the overall overwhelming amount of love that's come your way.
Yeah, man, it's good. Like a lot of the Aussies obviously get behind me because of the way I fight. And the biggest comments I've had lately is just the way I've been talking at my press conferences. A lot of people have been impressed with that. So that's nice to see that people are happy with that, I suppose. And yeah, through the bad of it as well, you're obviously in the sport of fighting, there's always going to be people who want to try and knock you down. And no matter what you do, they're always going to say something. Like in that last fight where I got clipped, where my feet were together. If you actually watch it and watch what happened, I got hit while my heels were together because I was backstepping because I accidentally fell in on that wheel kick. And like he did drop me, but he didn't hurt me. Like my eyes were on the whole time. And now people are trying to claim like, oh, like he can't eat a shot, he can't eat a big shot at this weight division, and he cuts too much weight. And it's like, well, I definitely don't cut too much weight. I think I would definitely put money that I am making weight for lightweight the healthiest out of anyone on the roster. I can make weight at any point for the whole camp. Like it is not a trouble for me. I don't even sweat to make weight. Like it's so easy for me. I could 100% go down to featherweight. And yeah, again, like old mate, 8 knockouts. Like 8 other dudes have not got back up from that. I did. My feet were together, but it motivates me. It excites me because then it's like, all right, well, one of these days I'm going to have a war with someone who's really, really good on the feet, and it's going to be sick. I'm going to be able to show how tough I really am because, like, other than when Motor dropped me, and other than when my feet were caught together in that last one, I've never been hurt, never been dropped, never been knocked out in the gym, nothing, not in any other sport. I've just always been pretty good at taking a shot. So I'm excited to prove that.
No, yeah, definitely. And you talk about the hype bully kind of argument is like one of the most silly arguments I've seen. When you look at these 6'3", 155ers up close, it's really not that much of an argument. It's just internet trolls and people coming together to kind of say, oh, like they're hype bullies. They should be fighting up a weight class or whatnot. Mm-hmm. And I want to ask you, just in terms of like interest, you talk about 6'3" lightweights are kind of hard to come by in the UFC. There's only a handful of you guys, but names that stand out: Jalen Turner, Joel Alvarez, Ignacio Bahamondes, and yourself. Would there ever be an interest in a Titan versus Titan matchup against any of those guys? I know there was a funny joke going around, people saying white people, you have a Jalen Turner, and that kind of circulating around social media. But what would the excitement for you be just to be able to have that kind of showcase against another tall 155er?
Yeah, I'd love to fight Jalen Turner just because I think we're like pretty sure he's a southpaw as well. Like we're very similar, and again, he's super dangerous, right? Like he's the guy he can put people asleep with one shot. So it's like me and him could have that Dan Hooker fight, where we go to war, and I can show people I can withstand that, and put him away. That would be a sick fight. I would really love that.
No, yeah, definitely. And I know for you, just not even in a fighting world, but a lot of moving parts for you. And first and foremost, I want to congratulate you and your partner on your engagement, brother, because I know you, always focused on the fighting and, just how, steadfast on your goals always, but, taking that time to acknowledge your partner and just being around the people that you love, talk us through just the emotions of such a monumental moment for you. Still only 23, but you have the poise of a veteran in the sport and also, a mature, adult, and you just so many other facets of life. So walk us through just the importance of that moment for you and being able to cement, that lifetime partnership with your partner.
Yeah, after my loss, she came into the hotel and I sort of, that's what calmed me down because obviously I was in a lot of disbelief. Like I literally couldn't believe that it happened. Like I was just confused. I was like, there's no way this is real. This is going to restart in a second. Like I'll be back in the cage. It'll restart. And then she walked in the room and everything came back and I calmed down a little bit, and that was the moment I realized. I was like, well, I've never had that with anyone else. Like, no, I honestly, if she was there, I would have been in a bit of a state, I think. So yeah, it's good for me to be able to just like repay that for her and show her what she means to me. And, obviously I don't post much about my personal life on social media just because when I see other fighters' pages, all I'm interested in is like what they're doing with their training, with their fighting, who are they fighting next, how's their injuries. Like I don't really want to see their personal stuff. That's just me personally. So that's how I look at it. I should probably represent it that way. So I try my best to keep any personal stuff out of it or keep it at least limited,
No, yeah, definitely. And I know for you, I just wanted to highlight that because I know it's a big thing for you and just your family. And again, congratulations to you and your family on that. And also, just on the massive, the accomplishment of fighting in Australia on a UFC card, that's no small feat. And I know for you, coming from Australia, a young kid with many dreams and ambitions in the fight game, this is such a monumental moment for you. And Tom, I want to thank you so much for your time, for the opportunity of the quick chat, and for what you've done in the sport, your resilience and coming back in tremendous fashion. Truly something I take inspiration from, and I know a lot of other fighters will take inspiration from. I guess on just one final note, you've got this fight with Alex Reyes at UFC 305, a big fight, probably, early prelims or opening up the main prelims, and just a fight that I think is going to get a lot of Aussie fans on their feet, excited for the night to come. Walk us through the emotion, or not the emotions, but walk us through just what does the rest of the year kind of look like for Tom Nolan? You know, with a win at UFC 305, that puts you in a really good position for one more and then maybe a top 15 spot. Walk us through just the rest of the year for you and the message to the supporters.
Yeah, so I think Alex Reyes is the perfect dance partner for me to I suppose he's gonna be like a canvas for me, right? Like I'm gonna go out there. I think last time I deserved a bonus, so this time I'm coming for that bonus. Like I need that bonus. Last time I was pretty sure I had it, didn't get it. So this time I think this guy is the perfect dance partner for that. Again, it's another situation where it's like Tom Nolan, it's he should smash this guy super easy. So I'm not I'm just taking him very, very seriously. I will not, I will not let that ever happen again. He's got 13 wins and they're all finishes, so he's obviously super dangerous. He knows how to fight. Um, so I'm expecting him to show up ready for war. I suppose his job's on the line at this point. So I'm going to make sure that it's not me, it's him. I look to put him away in spectacular fashion. And then, yeah, like you said, I reckon this will be my, third fight in 6 months. So I would like to maybe take, I don't know, a little bit of downtime of just upgrading, just because I do like to look like a different fighter in each fight. And then maybe November, December come back. And this time I would like to step up in competition a little bit. Like I like that, the idea of, yeah, like everyone's rallying behind me, but I also want to fight someone where I'm the motor, where someone says, oh, yeah, nah, he doesn't stand a chance. And I want to go out there and show who I am and fight someone in the higher rankings, like on the UFC MMA rankings.com or whatever it is. I've been fighting people in the between the 150 mark, which I myself am in. I think I'm ranked number 70 or something. But I want to fight someone in the top at least 40 after this one, just to prove myself. And then yeah, maybe one more, or if not top 15 after that. I think I'll be able to, with a performance, what I'm going to do to Alex, and then another performance at the end of the year. I think I'll put myself in a position where they're going to give me that top 15.
No, yeah, absolutely. And I know myself and just the excitement that I have for the fight with you and Alex Reyes, it's unprecedented to any other fight on the card right now. I think it's definitely one to watch. And Tom, I want to thank you so much for your time, brother. It's always a privilege to talk to the big train. And like I said, you inspire me in so many ways unimaginable with your performances and your way that you bounce back from your matchups. I want to thank you so much for your time. And to the fans at home watching, do be sure to check out Tom Nolan versus Alex Reyes at UFC 305. It will be a fight to remember on the prelims. It is a fight that you do not want to miss. It has been me, Dan from FightWave. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this interview. Do be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and have a great day, guys.